if salaries are increased, if inflation is brought down, if cost of goods and services in the market is relatively stable, I believe rent will not be an issue. If you remember, in 2021, a rent scheme was launched. Do you remember? By Malik Bawumia. Do you remember? Rent scheme.
You mean
was by Malik Bawumia. A rent scheme was launched. Tell me a single person who has benefited from that scheme. A single person who has benefited from the rent scheme as launched by Malik Bawumia. Nothing. You go to town, you cut short for things, you state things. On the day this rent scheme was being launched, okay, the day it was launched, if you went on their website, they copied Deftraco, okay, people who had benefited from Deftraco scheme, and then they copied the same people and put it on their website on the day the scheme was being launched. So on that day, somebody was testifying how he took rent and how it was benefiting him. On the day the project was being launched, that was where I knew that if Malik Bawumia greets you good morning, look up before you respond. Nothing will come out of this particular deal. And so we are pleading on you, refocus your energies on what your predecessor commenced. Why? The NDC was in power. President Mahama was in power for 4 years. Why? Don't you know of the new Labadi Villas that was completed and handed over before we left office? Don't you know of the Adenta SHC projects also that were completed and handed over before we left office? Don't you know of the Pong? I just stated the Nyamidua estates at Pong that was completed. 240 buildings were completed. This was a man who had a vision for this country. This was a man who was poised to fix the housing deficit of this country. And these were the projects we commenced and finished them before we left office.
Malik,
you have been in office 7 good years.
Malik,
not a single room has been constructed.
When you interact